guys, Walt Wagner here with TAV. Today we're going to go over another UTV build that we did in collaboration with Can-Am. This was a pretty cool project to be involved in with these guys, and something a little new to the industry we wanted to see. We've been into the UTV stuff for quite a while, and we wanted to see something a little different. As you know, you probably saw in our last walk around video of our Can-Am, but this one is a 4-seat version of that. This is actually a 2021 Can-Am X3 Max, so it's the 4-door, longer wheelbase. And I'll go front to back and kind of talk about the partners in this build, and is a joint project with Can-Am and a couple of folks in here like KC. They provided all the lighting for us, KMC wheels, and Wheel Pros with the wheels and tires, the EFX tires and stuff. So I'll just go front to back, and we'll kind of talk about what we did and why this build is a little different than what you'll normally see, and what the reasoning behind this build is. So what we wanted to do is have a street legal high performance car that you could basically put the family in and go for either a long distance camping trip, maybe multi-day or even a week type camping trip, and based right off of your vehicle. And we wanted to show that to do that, you don't necessarily have to have your typical rooftop tent and all that stuff for an overland style build. And kind of blending in the adventure motorcycle loadout type thought process into what a 4-wheel vehicle would be able to accomplish, with a couple of extra creature comforts. Some of the stuff that we actually have on here, you may not use all of this stuff. We just kind of have it mounted to the car as an example for storage and things like that. So kind of starting front to back, we'll start with lighting. KC was a huge partner on this build. We've been working with them on several other builds and really love the product. So wanted to just kind of showcase what they've got that's new, and starting with the Flex Era 4 that they have is a 4-diode light. This light is kind of like a driving combo style light. It's a nice small package where it's not impeding any kind of airflow or anything on the front bumper where it's at. Very lightweight. You can aim it kind of anywhere you want, but as a driving combo where they're sitting on top of what the headlights can provide, you're seeing way down the road, kind of down low at the road, and it's been really nice just on trail rides and stuff up in the mountains. So that's the Flex Era 4 by KC. Kind of what it's mounted to is the TMW bumper, winch bumper, and we're using the factory winch through BRP's website. So some of these components can be ordered directly through BRP off of their website when you build out your car. That winch is one of them. We like to run Factor 55 recovery equipment. This one's running a red hook for visibility. You can definitely see there's some red accents in the car, and we wanted to kind of match that up, but having the red hook on there is kind of nice for visibility if you do have to use your recovery equipment. Kind of moving back just a little bit into the suspension of this car, S3 Power Sports makes an incredible product. It's very strong. It's stuff they'll use on their King of the Hammers race car, and it also addresses a lot of the gusseting and strengthening aspects of for the bulkhead, where the control arms tie into the chassis of the car. It's a lot far stronger than the factory setup. So we kind of wanted to focus on the strength and reliability of that. So S3 sent us the upper and lower control arms, their tubing construction, chromoly tubing, and then the shock tower gusset. This gusset here provides, so your hardware for your shock, the upper part of your shock comes through here and fastens in the back, so you're double shearing the top of your shock, but this goes all the way down into the upper part of the chassis, and it ties in the top of your shock down into the chassis, and it creates a large gusset from the front all the way down to right behind the headlights, because this part of the tower runs from the top down in the back. So now you're creating an A-frame type configuration in there in the front end. They also sent us some billet tie rods, and you can you see those right here. Very strong billet aluminum tie rods. We're running the factory steering box on this car still, and for axle shafts, we're running the Trail Series RCV axle shafts. So they are far stronger than like an OME application. The actual shafts on these cars stock are fine, but we're running a much larger tire, and we've got a lot more rolling resistance that we're putting horsepower to. So we wanted to make sure we had a good strong set of axles in this car, front and back. So kind of moving into the wheels and tires, KMC Wheel Pro provided the wheel set for us. It's the KMC beadlocks, like the red access ring in the middle, kind of keeping with the red theme here. And then it's a 15x7 wheel. I believe it is a 15x7, and the tire is a 34-inch tire. And normally you don't see much of a larger than like a 32 on some of these cars, but given the wheelbase as being so long with this car, we wanted to kind of naturally have a taller tire on here to kind of make it a little more proportionate. So the car handles really, really well. The 2021s come with a little more horsepower than some of the earlier models, just stock, so it handles that really well. Kind of moving back a little bit. Multicam, as you can see, is all over this car. We work a lot with Multicam, and we've had a great working relationship with them, and we enjoy partnering together on some of these builds. So we wanted to have kind of more of a military theme with this car, with some of the drive behind what we're trying to do here with the expedition / military type approach. So Multicam Imagecraft provided the material for us, and we were able to wrap it here in Albuquerque. And after the wrap was applied, then we were able to put some of the other BRP parts on that they provided, like the factory fender flare. I wanted to use as much of the factory stuff that we could through BRPs, like that you can select on their website. So if you wanted to go on Can-Am's website and configure a car of your own, you could literally go through and pick a lot of these components yourself right off of their website. So fender flares kind of like this have been really nice. They're nice and tough. The windshield, this is a really key feature that we were after, because this car is intended to be driven for long periods of time. So we wanted to be able to drive in heavy snowstorms, tons of wind or dust or rain, and have windshield wiper capability. Washer bottle is on this car, so you could spray your windshield from inside here and just like you would in your normal car. So, and this particular windshield is actually like curved glass, automotive glass. So to me, it's like one of the nicest windshields you can really get on the market. And it gives you the largest field of view left to right. A lot of the windshields you'll see, they're awesome windshields, but they have to have a frame to them for the glass to sit in. So it's a metal frame, and you're losing a little bit of your side visibility, as well as your bottom and top, so it kind of shrinks your visibility just a little bit. But this one goes all the way out to the edges and creates the largest field of view possible. Along with that, a lot of people say that you can't use certain roof kits and stuff with the BRP stuff, but we were actually able to use a DMX flat roof on this car, and it integrated perfectly and seals completely up inside here. So if rain is driving into the windshield and moving up, we have it completely sealed all the way across, and it fits extremely well. Some of these things we have to manipulate just a little bit to get to fit right, but that's all part of kind of what we do. Going to think outside the box a little bit and get all of these components that weren't necessarily designed to work together specifically, but we can kind of work around some things, and we can do that ourselves. So it's not necessarily just a quick throw on, bolt on type thing. Some of this stuff we gonna go above and beyond on trying to make sure the fitment is really correct. So we've got kind of a little bit that went on within this flat roof because of what we wanted to incorporate on top of the roof. A lot of what you'll see out there are very, very high roof racks and things like that, because the factory cage that this car still has on it has a larger center bar that actually creates a lot more headroom inside the car. So by wanting to run a very low profile roof rack like this Frontrunner Outfitters rack, we went with a flat roof front to back that comes with a flat H-bar inside, and it allows the fitment of a foot. This is actually a truck part number, so we can reproduce this rack and mount it on a flat roof with a Frontrunner foot mount. So we can duplicate this whole setup, and that's really what we were after, because we intend to duplicate this type of setup because of its usability. It's not something I don't think you've ever seen in the UTV industry, because it's a truck component, and Frontrunner doesn't make anything directly for UTVs. So along with that too, with the KC Pro 6 light bar, my brother handmade a set of brackets that actually clamps onto the Frontrunner roof rack, similar to Frontrunner's own accessories, that the way it clamps to their rack. So we can incorporate the Pro 6 bar, drill right through the roof, seal that off with a grommet, and have it run down and be powered by the S-Pod that we're using inside. Moving back just a little bit on that, to close off the cab, we're running the BRP soft upper doors, because this is a BRP lower door with the exterior handle on it. So if it is wintertime or torrential downpour or whatever it may be, and you're on a long trip, you can roll this, you just zip this up like you would like a Jeep window, or you can roll it up and then just tuck it down on the inside and have it rest inside, so you can get some airflow in here. But these doors are really, really nice because you can access it from the outside, and you could just open it, you know, like it normally would. We're using the BRP storage bags here. You can keep anything from like a microfiber cloth to the headsets that we use for the comms and stuff like that in here. Your window can roll up and fasten with this little snap, and you can open it from the inside with the handle inside like an automotive door. It's a really nice solid closure, no vibration, no squeaks or rattles or anything like that. Been really happy with these doors, some of my favorite doors on the market. Kind of coming back, another thing that you probably haven't seen in the UTV industry is the James Baroud awning. This is James Baroud is a company out of Portugal, and all of their stuff is handmade in Portugal. So they build really nice hard shell rooftop tents. We've got a couple soft-sided tents as well, rooftop tents. But what I like about their awnings are they are 4 inches by 4 inches when they're closed up and stowed. So this thing is tiny, and you really don't realize it's there until you need it. But when you unroll it, it comes out about 105 inches. So that is a massive use of space outside the car. And there's a wall kit for this, so you can actually fasten a wall kit all the way around it, and that can be your living structure. You could actually have 3 or 4 adults in there comfortably on camp chairs just hanging out if it was nasty weather outside, or even just super sunny and hot. We've used this out in the field just to create shade when there wasn't any. So this has been really nice to have. It's so light that you don't feel the weight of it on the roof. You know, it's just, and it doesn't rattle or move. While you roll it up, there's no exterior bag for it. The cover itself is a different material, so you just undo it like this, flip it up, and you can unroll the awning out. It's real easy to extend and stow away. And that mounts directly to the roof rack itself. Right above that, we've been working with Zarges on the roof cases. These cases are made in Germany. We get them out of North Carolina, and they're extremely light, and they are securable. This is the K470 model line. There are several different sizes within the K470 line. So it's, you know, there's any number of ways we can kind of get some roof storage for this. And we've kept camera bags in here. We've kept recovery gear, jackets, you know, anything you can imagine we've kept in here. We've gone fly fishing with this car. You just drive out and you keep all your stuff secured inside this box. Lock it up if you're going to go inside somewhere. So it's really nice to have good lightweight protection on the roof and storage capability. Kind of moving back just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see right here, but we have a light under here by KC that is good for camp area light. So when you turn this on, even though it looks like it's behind this awning, it's actually just down below it, so you can still see out and around. And when the awning is open, it's a silver fabric that the light can reflect off of and create a nice ambient light, you know, throughout camp, even if you're not under the awning. So that's actually a really nice spot to have it. It's out of harm's way. You're not going to drag it across a tree and destroy it. Coming into the back seat here, we used a Tusk brand rear seat delete right here. So we just deleted one rear seat, and we have this storage tray here that we can fasten down gear bags, whatever we need down here, tools, something heavy, and we can mount it down here. But we're also running a Dometic CFX 3 fridge, and this one's it's a fridge freezer. We've kept, you know, you can just keep ice cream, whatever you want to in here. You can bring it down to, you know, 18 degrees Fahrenheit or so. I mean, you can just throw whatever you want to in here and have anything, you know, steaks or whatever you want, and you could go out camp somewhere and have really good food, veggies and things like that. So this is really nice to have, because we're running a dual battery system in this car by BRP. So we've got that system in here, and we've got an auxiliary battery, and we've also got the normal starting battery. And we can run this fridge off of solar, or we can charge the factory battery, the house battery, with solar as well. As I said in one of our other walk-around videos, it's a really good idea to have a fire extinguisher. So this Assault Industries fire extinguisher mount is right behind the driver's head, does not vibrate or move, and anyone in the car can grab this if need be. So it's always good to have at least one or two fire extinguishers in the car with you. Another thing that we did actually for this particular fridge, because of its size and dimensions, we made a riser plate under here. It's actually a square tubing subframe that we made to bring the fridge up, and it allowed us a really sturdy platform to mount that, because it actually extends over the rear seat delete onto the center console, and it's a really solid mount for that fridge. Part of the cabin closure for this car is also by BRP, and it's just a soft, same material as this, but it's a soft closure for the rear part of the cage, because while you're driving on dusty roads, if you've driven these before, you kind of probably understand that there's a lot of moving air back here, and it kind of pulls dust into the cab. So having that on there is really nice to keep dust out of the cab for the most part. We've sealed up the underside of the roof with expanding foam tape to keep any kind of vibration or tinniness down from the roof, so it's really quiet inside the cab, aside from engine noise obviously. But kind of moving back some more, we're running the shock therapy limiting straps on this, because the S3 trailing arms can droop out so far that the RCV axle shaft boots can touch the part of the trailing arm, so we're limiting that very, very slightly just to keep the boots from contacting anything. And these trailing arms look like they're off of a trophy truck. I mean, they are insanely strong. You're definitely not going to hurt them. They also sent some of their high clearance radius arms back here that you can see. We kind of left them, we kept them this color so you can kind of see what they're made of, and it kind of stands out a little bit. But on the back here, the radius rod plate, by ZRP, you can incorporate an actual 2-inch receiver. So we've actually carried a bike rack back here with bikes on it, mountain bikes on it before. You could put anything you want really that would work in a receiver hitch, like a tray to where you could put firewood in it, something like that, chainsaws, whatever you want back here, as long as it's not in front of your exhaust. But then we're also using the ZRP dog bones here, which creates a large bridging component across your hardware for your radius arms, and it really makes it stronger. Between all three of these mounts, you have a dog bone that spans that. Kind of moving up just a little bit, BRP also sent out one of their rear view mirror inside the cab that has a camera back here, so you can power this all the time. It doesn't have to be in reverse to be able to see it, so you can just have it running all the time, and it's a nice bright enough light to where you can see out here at night. But it's nice to be able to have this behind you. With a car this long and a cab that's kind of closed off, you can see everything out here behind you. And KC sent their chase light, and since we have so much stuff going on up here with the tire up here, and we wanted to keep the roof rack low in order for the chase light to be seen really well, we actually mounted it. We made a custom tab, a custom mount that mounts through. It's angled and it mounts through this back piece and is reinforced back behind it, so it's very, very sturdy. So you can have turn signals on this, backup lights, dust lights, all kinds of different configurations you can run with this particular light. It's down here out of harm's way, so you can, if you wanted to throw some gear into this TMW quick release tray that utilizes the same quick release on for Can-Am, you don't have to worry about beating this up too much. For this one, we've got the Assault Industries spare tire carrier. This is a 34-inch tire, so it'll give you an idea of what kind of what that tire size looks like on this particular rack. This is one of my favorite ones out there. Really, really like this one. As you can see, it supports the weight of that tire just fine. So if we wanted to put some max tracks or something on the tire too, it would support that. and you could just run it up and, you know, have it out of your way. I just threw a little med kit in here. Since we've been out riding, we just kind of throw some stuff in here together just to keep with us. But you can keep dry bags, tools, whatever you want to in this tray, and then have it, you know, just underneath this, and it kind of keeps everything kind of secure. And all you got to do to take the tire off is just undo this ratchet strap, and you can pull the whole tire off and, you know, work with it. Gives you a good bit of usable tubing space out here too. If you wanted to mount fire extinguishers or gear to the tubing itself, you could, you know, you could run a Pro Eagle jack or something on there, and you know, have extra storage space there. Coming around to our comms, as you can see, there's an antenna right here. We're running a rugged radio, UHF VHF radio in here, and you know, got the little antenna on a tab right here behind the cage, kind of out of the way. On the roof, you can kind of see a couple more things that Frontrunner Outfitters carries that is designed to work with their roof racks. We've got some tie-down rings that are adjustable, very easily adjustable on the roof. This is about 8 gallons, I think, of fresh water that you could have up here. We don't have the hose in it right now, but you could put a hose right here, and there's a mount here that you can actually have a shower. So if you wanted to have a warm shower, you could actually get a small heat exchanger that just hangs on the rack, ties into the spare battery, and you could have a hot shower with a small propane tank right here off of a UTV. So it's, you know, you wouldn't really think that you could do something in such a small package, but you've got potable water or shower water, whatever you want for camp. Coming around, you can kind of get a little better look at the KC side light here. This is one for the passenger side for your area lighting out off of the side of the car at camp, or negotiating a trail at night or something like that. One other thing that I do like about the foot rail that we used here, you can see how low profile this roof rack is on this flat roof. I mean, it's very, very low, lightweight aluminum rack. But Frontrunner makes a camp table that actually stows underneath the roof rack. So you just push up on this tab, rotate that out of the way, and you can drag your table out of this track and set it out on the ground, and you have standard height camp table right here at camp. And then they also make camp chairs, expandable chairs that you can set out, and they sit up at the table at normal height. So you're not sitting down on the ground and, you know, standard backpacking type stuff. So this is their Pro Series table. It just slides in, and it's secure. It doesn't move or rattle or bounce or anything like that. You just kind of forget it's there till you need it. And it's using otherwise wasted space between the rack and the roof. On the roof up here, these are called stratchets. They have a little bit of a bungee to them, and you know, so it just creates just enough tension. These are by Frontrunner as well, and the tie down rings that you can kind of adjust and move anywhere around. So we've got this dry bag here that is a roll top style dry bag that has 2 cub packs. They're 2 black plastic boxes that Frontrunner sells, just to kind of show that you can put stuff like this up here. You don't necessarily need to run all these different things. It's kind of just an example, but it's to give you kind of a little bit of a scale of how big this stuff is and what you can fit. So this is all waterproof, dry storage. You can take this off and move it around. You can have a ton of room up here for dry bags and tents and things like that if you wanted to set up, you know, more stuff out at camp. We like to work with DMOS on their shovels. This particular one is the Delta shovel and the mount for it. So you have an expandable shovel that expands out to the length of about a standard shovel, but it's all collapsible and very strong, super tough setup. And you can lock it, and then we just have a quick pin here, little cam latch that has a really positive hold to the shovel, and then you can just lift the shovel out, and it holds really nice and tight, and it's easy to deal with. So inside the cab here, we'll start from the top and go down. This is the rear view mirror by Can-Am, and it's a standard mirror, but there's a camera on the back of the car that when this is powered up, you can see the image out of the back, and you can leave it on all the time. So you can actually see your passenger in the back seat. Leaving your camera on, you can still see back behind you. So your eye will just adjust. It's kind of a nice little screen when you're trying to navigate backwards. So you've got your camera. Down here, we kind of kept it pretty simple. This is a rugged radios, UHF, VHF radio, little magnet mount for the mic. You can use this mic to talk with, or the push to talk button. So as a driver driving, you can just push this to talk in your headset. This would be the headset here that goes behind your head. Your mouthpiece, you can adjust your volume here. You can adjust the volume on here. And your intercom. So this is an intercom system for passengers. So you can have, 3 passengers with headsets on. Everybody can talk to each other without having to yell. Everybody, and it kind of, makes it nice to communicate inside the car. This front seat passenger also has a push to talk right here on the grab handle. So that's pretty nice. If they wanted to talk to somebody else in the convoy, they can. Moving down just a little bit, we've got an S-Pod mounted in behind this part of the console here. The radio cable is plugged in up there, but we have all of our light capabilities right here, right in the S-Pod. This is also Bluetooth capable, so if you wanted to be outside the car, you can turn your phone on, download the app, and you could actually have the same switch capability on your cell phone outside the car. The interior of the car, we have roof lights, or like interior lights. Let's see. The white light is, we have red lights and white lights. We have a red light for camp at night, one here and one here right behind the roof. So we have 2 inside the car for red lights. We have 2 white lights by KC. These are the cyclone lights, and they're really thin and flat, and you can kind of hide them anywhere you want, but they put out a really nice diffuse type light that's really easy to work with. Other than that, that pretty much wraps up this project we've been working with Can-Am. We've been taking it all over the country, trying to get it out there so everybody can see it. And check this out at TAV_UTV on Instagram, and keep an eye out on Facebook as well. If you've got any questions, you can message us there, or you could run over to our website and just send us an inquiry page or inquiry through that, and we get those through our emails. So Tactical Application Vehicles on Facebook and YouTube, and then tavllc.com on the internet. So should be able to catch any one of us there, and we can answer whatever questions you've got, and we can kind of put together your own personal build. And we want to know what's going to work for you, and that's the only thing that matters. Doesn't have to please everybody else as long as it works for you. So you hit us up and we'll get you taken care of.